All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're unpacking a really fascinating biological mystery today. From our source material, we are going to look closely at a major scientific puzzle, human evolution. Specifically, why our DNA seems to have evolved at a wildly accelerated rate in our recent past. Throughout this explainer, we're going to examine the data, the scientific findings, and the rather extraordinary theories that attempt to explain this massive genetic leap.
It all revolves around one staggering central number, 100. Anthropologist Dr. John Hawks out of the University of Wisconsin did some comprehensive mapping, and well, he found something wild. Human DNA didn't just evolve at some slow, predictable pace like we're usually taught. His research actually shows that over the past 5,000 years, our DNA evolved literally 100 times faster than in any previous 5,000-year period in our history. To put that anomaly into perspective, if you compare the DNA of someone walking around today to someone living back in 3000 BC, you're going to see a massive 7% genetic shift. I mean, for evolutionary biology, a 7% change in just 5 millennia is basically a lightning strike. It's incredibly fast. So the main thing we're exploring from our sources today is why. What exactly happened in the last 5,000 years to alter the structure of human DNA so drastically? To start getting some answers, we have to look back at 2010. At the Max Planck Institute, a team of biologists led by Svante Pääbo basically shattered the traditional, straight-line model of Darwinian evolution. They proved early humans didn't just replace primitive hominids, they actually coexisted and interbred with them. But here is the real kicker. They discovered that our genes contain DNA from a completely unidentified mystery species. The mainstream scientific community absolutely acknowledges this gap in our lineage, which, as you can imagine, leaves the door wide open for some pretty wild interpretations.
Which brings us to Section 1, Traces of Mystery Species. Since mainstream science hasn't pinned down this mystery DNA just yet, alternative researchers have definitely stepped in with their own hypotheses to explain that 100x acceleration. Ancient astronaut theorists, for instance, look straight at global mythologies. You know, all those ancient texts from different cultures talking about supernatural beings or gods mating with humans? Well, the source material outlines the claim that if you just strip away the religious symbolism, these stories might actually be literal historical accounts of extraterrestrial interbreeding. They argue this kind of cosmic intervention is the exact catalyst for that massive leap in our DNA.
And theorists actually point to physical trace evidence to back this up. Take this incredibly bizarre case from Sydney, Australia back in 1992. A guy named Peter Curry woke up paralyzed and claimed he saw two strange women in his bedroom. After they vanished, he found a single strand of hair left behind. When biochemist Horace Drew analyzed it, the results were entirely anomalous. Unlike normal colored hair, this stuff was optically clear, kind of like nylon fishing line, and it gets weirder. It contained two completely distinct DNA lineages. We're talking a super rare Chinese lineage found in only 0.1% of the population, mashed with a blue-eyed, light-skinned Celtic lineage. For theorists, this is tangible trace evidence of the exact kind of genetic manipulation they think spiked our evolution.
Moving right along to Section 2, Codes Hidden in DNA. So, let's take this from physical trace evidence down into the microscopic world of genetic mathematics. Theorists argue that if someone or something was tinkering with our DNA to speed us up by 100 times, they'd leave a signature, right? Well, in 2013, a mathematician and an astrobiologist from Kazakhstan published a study claiming they found exactly that. They reported discovering a repeating mathematical pattern and an unknown symbolic language embedded right there in the human genome. It basically operates like an artificial code. And the odds of the specific sequence happening naturally by chance? 1 in 10 trillion. Yeah, 1 in 10 trillion. For ancient astronaut theorists, that number is the ultimate proof, a literal extraterrestrial stamp confirming our DNA was deliberately mutated. They also point out another really compelling parallel. Back in 1966, science confirmed that the universal structure of DNA relies on 3 molecule combinations, called codons. So our entire biological language comes in clusters of 3. Theorists note how suspiciously this mirrors the divine trinities we see revered in ancient religious texts, like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They propose this power of 3 isn't just a coincidence, it's a design signature, linking our biology directly to those ancient, supposedly extraterrestrial gods.
All right, Section 3, the abduction phenomenon.
Now, the source material doesn't just leave this genetic tampering in the ancient past. It suggests the alien agenda is actually ongoing, meaning that 100x acceleration might be an active modern-day project. If you look across several decades of abduction accounts, a really consistent, terrifying pattern emerges. People report highly specific, invasive medical procedures. In '61, Betty and Barney Hill reported skin and sperm samples being taken by Greys. In '88, Kim Karlberg detailed a hybridization program where her eggs were mixed with alien DNA. And in 2008, Charmaine de Rosario-Sage described a physical genetic transformation of her own body by reptilian beings. Theorists argue these aren't just isolated dreams. They're reports of a literal, ongoing genetic farming operation.
Which begs the question, if they're creating hybrids, where are they? The sources highlight this deeply mysterious 2015 police case in California as potential proof that hybrids are already covertly living among us. When 60-year-old Jeffrey Allen Lash was found dead in an SUV, police searched his home and found an absolutely massive arsenal. We're talking 12,200 guns, 7 tons of ammunition, and 230 grand in cash. Lash had actually told his fiancée he was an alien hybrid working secretly for the government. And the most chilling detail of the whole shebang, when the coroner examined his body, Lash had absolutely no fingerprints. None.
Let's pivot to Section 4, Beyond Human Evolution.
Theorists believe this genetic tampering isn't just limited to humans. If an advanced intelligence is playing with biology on Earth, we should see fingerprints of intelligent design in the animal kingdom too. For example, the source material breaks down the incredible physiology of the bombardier beetle. This tiny insect is literally a chemical warrior. It has internal glands that produce hydroquinone and hydrogen peroxide. It combines them in this specialized internal mixing chamber, and then, using a one-way valve, shoots a rapid-fire blast of boiling, toxic vapor, basically rocket fuel, at its predators. And it does this at a rate of 500 bursts per second.
And this brings up a major question from ancient astronaut theorists that challenges the very core of Darwinian evolution. Think about it. If evolution happens through slow, random, step-by-step mutations over millions of years, how on earth did this beetle not just blow itself up during the trial and error phase? This mechanism requires all of its highly complex, super volatile parts to be perfectly in place at the exact same time to work and to not kill the host. Because of this extreme, almost impossible complexity, the source floats the hypothesis that some creatures just flat out defy standard evolutionary models. Theorists suggest the bombardier beetle might have actually been placed on Earth by extraterrestrials as a fully finished biological product, maybe as a genetic blueprint, or even a miniature model for a deadly chemical weapon that early humans could observe and learn from. So that really brings us full circle. When we look back at that inexplicable 100x leap in human DNA evolution over the last 5,000 years, the mathematical codes hidden deep in our genome, and these bizarre biological mysteries out in nature, the source material leaves us with a truly profound question. If our DNA was deliberately manipulated and artificially mutated by some outside intelligence, does that just make us organic robots? We're left to wonder if our genetic code is actually our own, or if it's the precise, lingering fingerprint of a cosmic architect. Definitely something to think about the next time you consider the incredible, rapidly evolving machine that is the human body.